Oh boy, new color grave game announced, and this time I actually had no idea about it. Like, I didn't have anything to do with it, like I didn't make the trailer or anything, so it was really nice to be on the other side of that for a change. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm perfectly happy to help out where I can, but it made a nice change to be in the dark for once and actually get to enjoy the announcement. So today I'm just going to go through the new trailer for Dawnthief and just see what we have to say. I've got a little list of notes that I want to of things that I want to mention just to make sure that I cover everything, but I'm basically going to go through this unscripted. So without further ado, let us start. Now, obviously we have the dawn symbol right at the start there, and I'm gonna pause this quite frequently, and we're gonna go through this like frame by frame sometimes. We've got obviously Belle collecting treasures. Now I've got to wonder if this is like the main mechanic, like the main quest, I guess, of the game. Okay, my cat's just gonna climb on the desk while I'm trying to talk here. Thank you for that. Yeah, I wonder if it's the main thing that we're aiming for in this little story, or if it's sort of a side quest thing. And the reason I think it might be a side quest sort of thing is because we do see Fiona at some point in this trailer, but we'll get to that when we get to it. For now, let us continue, and we'll look at all these treasures here. We see some interesting things here. First of all, the treasures do seem to be basically like trinkets. Like, I don't think they're going to actually be used for anything apart from, like I say, maybe a side quest to give the items to Fiona. Hello, you're back. What's up? And so apart from that, I see we have some interesting looking counters here. Obviously, we have the treasures, which is presumably these things here, because there are 6 of them on the screen and the counter is at 6. We have souls. Like, okay, so I'm going to talk about it in a little bit, but I think this game, or at least part of this game, takes place in Thornweald, which is the forest in the wilderness where, long story short, there's probably a bunch of lost souls there that nobody is going in to claim or guide to the grave. Like, everyone just leaves it because no one wants to go to that area. And so I wonder if these are souls that Belle is collecting. By the way, I'm just going to keep saying Belle because it's extremely obvious that the Dawn Clown is Belle. I'm not going to pretend like there's any possibility that it's not her, because it just is. So I want to make that clear right now. So I wonder if Belle is collecting these souls and like rescuing them in a way, or maybe she's collecting them for nefarious reasons. Maybe she's under instructions to collect them from the Dawn. Or there is also another possibility, as we will see a little bit later on in the trailer. There's a high chance that Belle is killing people in this game, and we see one of them like pop a soul out of them when she kills him. And so I wonder if this is like basically a kill counter. That's also a possibility, right? And then under that we have birds, which seems really out of place. Like, the only thing I could think of with regards to birds was the fact that the mail system in Ladamra uses birds. Or at least, well, I don't know about the whole of Ladamra, but at least on the island of Hollow, where Curse Crackers takes place, they use birds. So maybe it's got something to do with that. I genuinely can't think of any other reason why there might be a bird counter in this game. That's very strange. And then, of course, keys is just keys. Like, keys could have many uses, but presumably it's just like, here's how many keys you've got type thing. Now, speaking of Thornweald, I'm sure you've noticed, we can see all of these thorns in the menu here, which I believe are probably indicative of Belle's malice, which is presumably the reason why she is with the Dawn in the first place. Or maybe the fact that she's with the Dawn is the reason for the malice sort of flourishing. But you know, that much seems obvious. That there is a smaller detail that I've noticed, and that's the chains. Like, we've seen chains sort of in association with all this kind of thing before. With Riley, you know, she has these chains that represent her penance, like she's serving a sentence as a Reaper, as a kind of like community service thing. And I wonder if there is something similar going on with Belle. Like, maybe she's maybe it's like a contract thing. Maybe you can do this with anyone and it doesn't have to be as a Reaper. Like, maybe she's formed a contract with the Dawn and these chains are representative of that. Possible? Dunno. And then the last thing on this menu is where it says, hold on, let me just go back a little bit so you can actually see the whole thing. You see there it says sidearm and held item. Now, again, gonna get to it when I get to it in the trailer. I'm going through all of this as in much chronological order as I can, as it's shown in the trailer. But sidearm and held item, I think, are possibly when you hit an enemy, sometimes it looks like you can grab their weapon and then use it. So that could be the sidearm, or it could be just a held item. I don't know if it's going to be temporary or permanent. But that is that for now. We can continue on and see that Fiona's here, like I mentioned. She says, "Ooh, you've brought me more artifacts to look at." So that's why I said presumably the treasures that we're collecting are for Fiona, and that is like probably their only purpose, maybe. I mean, I assume they'll advance a narrative and that is the true purpose, but like generally speaking, the purpose of the treasures is to collect them for Fiona and not necessarily for Belle's own reasons. And then of course we have Bramble, who I'm really happy that we get to see more of, and her giant scissors. Now, obviously, we know that Bramble is part of the Dawn, but the really curious thing is why Fiona's here. Like, is she now with the Dawn? Is she just tagging along? Is she following Belle, perhaps? Like, I assume that the reason she is here is because of Belle. And, well, then again, she's really obsessed with Malice, so maybe she wanted just any reason to go to Thornweald, and she was like, oh, these guys are going to Thornweald, I'm going to tag along with them, and for some reason they allowed it, so maybe there is some sort of agreement, or maybe she actually formally joined the Dawn because she just wants to experience as much chaos as possible. You know, anything that's exciting to her is worth it, as far as she's concerned. And of course, back again to the subject of Thornweald, it looks like this is sort of on the forest's edge. Like maybe this is like, and you know, they've got this big, what's the word? Tarp. That's the word, tarp. They've got a tarp covering a bunch of boxes, so they clearly have a supply thing here. Like there's clearly some sort of mission going on, maybe some sort of larger operation and not just these three. But I think maybe this is going to be some sort of prelude to actually entering the forest. I mean, the Steam page does mention that there are 6 worlds, and I assume in this case that using worlds in like a more video game sense and not worlds as in the way that they've been used in the lore before, as in referring to planets. I assume it's more like in Curse Crackers, where you have different worlds, but really it's just different areas of the island of Hollow. But in this case, I think it's going to be more like different areas of the world, because as we're going to see, in fact, you know what, I'm just going to keep playing, because right here we have this, which to me looks like Silverlight, right? It looks like what Silverlight looks like in Claire a la Mode. It even has that little symbol down there, which is used on the TV for Capital News, I think it's called. So this whole game might take place like immediately after Claire a la Mode, or it could, like, maybe part of it takes place during Claire a la Mode, I don't know. But what I wanted to say about the areas that we might be visiting is I think we're probably going to start maybe in Silverlight and then continue to maybe a dock of some sort, and then we're going to go on a ship. We're almost certainly going to be on a ship because of another scene that we'll see in a moment, and then that area that we just saw in the previous shot with the edge of the forest, and then into Thornweald itself. Maybe? It seems like it could be how it works out. Who knows? Maybe this is just a flashback scene, something similar to how Veritas starts. There are a lot of options, I think. But something else that I wanted to point out about this shot here is these wing-looking things. I mean, let's be straight up, they look like angel wings. And there is only one character that we associate with like an angelic appearance so far in the whole Colorverse, and that is Rayam. So is this sort of a soft confirmation or a hint at the fact that Sigrid may be connected with Rayam in some way? Like, after all, I did have that theory before where Sigrid is maybe a former minion of Rayam, and she betrayed her and just like went off on her own. Like maybe that's the connection here. But I just wanted to point that out because it seems like it's really prominent in the shot. It's like, hey, here's a bunch of things that look like angel wings. What does that mean? I guess we'll find out. But continuing on, the wilderness fears you. Now it looks like we're in Thornweald proper. Like, the whole background is just filled with thorns. We are clearly amongst trees and stuff. We just jumped on a rat that has a little horn on its head. Oh, and something I wanted to mention about this is, look at that. Look at all those. It looks like we have Well, there's the mace ball thing. It looks like we have different coin denominations that we didn't have in the previous 2 games set in this world, which is maybe like a thing. Maybe there's some kind of point to that, or maybe it's just for visual flair, visual difference. I don't know, I just thought it was interesting to point out that we haven't ever seen any different kind of coin other than these giant gold ones before. Well, now we have silver and copper as well, so I don't know, something to keep an eye on. Maybe it's not relevant at all. We shall see. And now we're about to see that big flail weapon, which is really cool. And the movement, let's go back and look at that again. I honestly, I can't wait to play this. Like, just this shot of her grappling left and right, like, it looks so much fun to play. Like, the way that they've managed to iterate on the gameplay from Curse Crackers is incredible. Like, the fact that they can just keep making more interesting ways of moving around based on the Curse Crackers movement is just a testament to how good at designing games they are. And I just can't wait to play this. It's going to be so much fun, I think. Now we have more of that Silverlight looking area. Do what you do best, crush anyone that gets in your way. And we're about to see as well, she's about to pick up that sword. There we go, she picked it up and she threw it at the other guy and fucking killed him? Maybe? Also, I don't know what these green gems are. I don't know if they're just like actual gemstones that for some reason this knight had on him. Or if they're supposed to, oh my god, or if they're supposed to signify something else, but I think this red blobby thing is almost certainly a soul. I mean, look, it also doesn't like shatter the way that the other things do. The other things kind of like pling away in like a little sparkle, but this kind of, this explosion is more bubbly. It sort of pops and, yeah, it sort of bubbles away, bubble's the right word there. Now, the thing is, though, with the theory that Belle is collecting souls from people she's killed, is this soul, I don't know if this was done on purpose, I don't know if this was orchestrated to happen this way in the trailer, or if it's just a coincidence, but it just so happens that Belle runs past the soul right as it hits the ground. So it's hard to say if this popping away animation is from it hitting the ground and bursting, or from Belle collecting it as she runs past. So that kind of, like I say, I don't know if that was on purpose. If it was, then that's incredible work, well done. But it leaves it sort of ambiguous as to whether that is actually what's happening, which I think is kind of good. Like, you don't want to give too much away, right? And so, now we see the, what am I trying to say? Now we see the rope climbing from Curse Crackers. I don't really have anything to say about that, but like, hey, look, it's like Curse Crackers, see? Now, this text is interesting here. We have pacts will be broken, treasures will be taken, secrets will be unmasked. Now, pacts will be broken. I've been thinking about this. What pacts could there even be? Like, maybe a pact between Belle and Alexa, or just the Dawn in general? Maybe? Like, maybe Belle is going to betray them. That would be pretty cool, and also in character, I think. Like, she obviously doesn't want to work with Alexa. She's kind of being... I don't think she's been actually brainwashed. I think she's being coerced or blackmailed or manipulated in some more traditional way, for lack of a better word. Like, and I think that's why she left Chime behind, because she knows how much the Dawn hate Magic Eaters, even though they have one of her own, but whatever. They know that they hate Chime, and she wanted to keep him safe by not taking him with her. And so I feel like that action speaks to this not being proper brainwashing. So her betraying them in the end would make a lot of sense, I think. A pact could also, like I said, if Fiona is not actually with the Dawn and she just made some sort of informal agreement as to why she's able to come along on this mission, maybe Fiona is going to actually end up betraying them. After all, she is entirely self-interested. She holds no allegiances to anyone as far as we've seen so far. So it would again be perfectly in character for her to be like, oh, I'm gonna get more out of this if I suddenly stop working with you guys, so I'm gonna do that. And hey, maybe even Fiona will be a boss fight. That would be extremely interesting. I actually mentioned this in the Discord, and someone said maybe it's the peace brokerings between the peace brokerings, what am I saying, the peace talks, the peace The thing that oh my god, Sigrid is trying to broker peace between the wild Hearthen in the wilderness and herself, like her government. And we saw in Claire a la Mode that apparently was not going well, but maybe some progress was being made. Oh, and also she was in Claire a la Mode. She was currently on a ship going to there. Oh, I forgot about that. She was on a ship going to the wilderness, and now that's where we are going as Belle. Oh, dude, wouldn't it be crazy if we actually saw Sigrid in this game? Maybe that's what Secrets Will Be Unmasked is. Like, it's just Sigrid's identity. Like, we finally get to see what she's like. And I mean, I was going to say maybe fight against her, but I feel like that would not go well for Belle, as powerful as we know she is. But then again, we don't know. We really don't know. We don't know very much about anything. The more that I talk, the more I'm like, oh, we don't know anything, huh? But yeah, so like maybe there was some sort of agreement managed to be reached in between games, and then it was all just a facade, and that is going to be broken. That pact will be broken. Another option is we will see a little bit later on that Maggie is apparently going to be in this game. She seems to kind of be a stick out, like she kind of sticks out in this setting. Like, because, okay, before Claire a la Mode, I had this theory that seemed really solid that Maggie was working with the Dawn, and like maybe she was even working with Alexa to raise Belle to be a certain way. But then, in Claire a la Mode, she's one of the hostages being taken by B, who is working with the Dawn. So, like, what's going on there? Was there just a conflict of interest? Did B just... I mean, B is obviously, again, a very self-interested character who didn't really care that much about the Dawn's plan as long as it made her be in a powerful position. So maybe she just didn't care. Maybe that was just to throw us off the trail. I don't know. Seems suspicious, though. And then all of a sudden she's in this game. But, you know, maybe she is going to make her own way to Thornweald and you'll face off against her as a boss battle. Or maybe she really was working with the Dawn and that is the pact that was broken. Maybe the Dawn betrayed her. Or maybe she betrayed the Dawn. Who knows? But her inclusion in this trailer it just sticks out to me as suspicious, that's all. And then we have treasures will be taken. Obviously, we see her, like, getting treasures, picking up literal treasures. That's one thing. But I was also reminded of the true treasure will be taken, the fortune from Curse Crackers. Wait, no, it's not from Curse Crackers. Is it? No, it's from Prodigal, I think. Anyway, one of the fortunes that you read is 2 children, one in flight to be protected, one left in the open thought to be safe. The true treasure will be taken. I might have got the wording ever so slightly wrong, but that is the gist of it. There's 2 children, one is hidden, one is not, and the true treasure will be taken. Maybe this is alluding to that treasure? I don't have any particular theories on what exactly that could mean and how it would align with this, but I just wanted to mention it as an option because treasures being taken was an important part of that fortune, and now treasures being taken is being brought up explicitly here. So just something to keep in mind. Maybe there's a connection there. And secrets will be unmasked. Like I said, could be Sigrid. I wouldn't put much money on that though if I was betting on it. Maybe we're going to get more about Belle's past. Maybe we're going to finally understand more about her relationship with Alexa. Maybe even her father, who has literally never been mentioned ever. Like, it's really, really strange that he is never even alluded to by anyone ever. And maybe there's a good reason for that. Maybe it's just, he's dead, or he is an absent father and they don't know anything about him. I don't know. Or maybe he's from another world, and that's why Belle is ungifted. I've already spouted that theory about maybe that's where ungifted come from, but I don't know. Maybe we're going to learn about Maggie's past. Maybe that's why she's there. Maybe we're going to learn more about her. Maybe she used to have a connection with the Dawn and she doesn't anymore because she got too attached to Belle raising her, and she was like, actually, I kind of don't want to make this child soldier. I think I'm going to probably want to protect her instead, and that's where the pact was broken. Maybe that's where the pact being broken comes from, and it's also going to be a secret that's unmasked. Who knows? However, unmasked is a very specific word that keeps getting brought up, and now we have a lot of characters with masks. Like, unmasked makes me immediately think of Armadale just because of that word being used in Prodigal a bit, but we also have Alexa, and we also have Belle now. Like, maybe we're just going to have an Alexa face reveal. Like, it's going to be, she's literally unmasked and, look, my ears were fake and it turns out I'm from another world or something. I don't know. Like, wouldn't it be fucked up if Alexa's face is revealed and it turns out to be someone we know who we just weren't expecting at all? Like, okay, if that was the case, who could it possibly be? I can't even think of any joke options, like, of who it could be, realistically, or even half realistically. Like, who could it possibly be? I don't know. That seems like it's not a real theory. I'm just saying it because I'm unscripted right now, and that's what happens. I just go off on wild tangents. That's why I've got this list of notes. I'm keeping to the notes. We're gonna move on. We also have now this next shot here is why I said we're going to be in a ship, because look at the background. We have like the ribs of the ship interior that holds the structure of the ship together, kind of. It looks like that's what we're in. So I think we're going to start out somewhere that we've already seen in Claire Alamode or Curse Crackers or both, and then we're going to be on this ship, and then we're going to be in Thornweald. So that's all I've got to say about that, apart from, hey, look at this sexy movement. Oh my god. The good old Curse Crackers movement. Look at it all. And we have more of those coins. Oh, and we have her picking up an axe as well. We see her pick up an axe and throw it just there. That's pretty cool. Whoop, there he goes. Stamp on another rat. And now we have the character roster sort of thing. We have Belle herself. Something I wanted to mention about this, actually. Something I realized is Belle's got really long hair. Like, the fact that it's in a big, thick braid and has a big bell on the end means that if it was, like, not tied up in that braid, it would be down to the floor. It would be, like, twice as long as Belle's entire body, right? And I don't think all of that is fitting in that hood. I think we might get short-haired Belle. I think that she's had to cut her hair. Dude, what if she didn't just cut her hair? What if they, like, shaved her head? What if we're gonna get bald Belle? That would be kind of cool. Hey, Lulupa, don't tell Min. Just put bald Belle in there and don't tell Min until it's too late and you're like, oh, we haven't got enough time to change it. Just do that. That'd be cool, right? Wait, Min's gonna watch this video as well. Ah, shit, Min, forget I said that. But after Belle, we have Bramble, which... This is a great image of Bramble. This is currently Min's Discord profile picture, and it looks so good. Like, by the way, I just wanted to add this as a side note. This entire thing, this entire trailer, so, you know, gameplay clips, background sprites, these images here, this was all done within a week. This was like, okay, we're gonna do this, and then a week later, they had this trailer ready. What the fuck? How did they do that shit? Like, it's crazy. It's genuinely insane how they managed to do it. I have no idea. They're mentally ill people. And we have Fionn, who looks very interesting. That her smile is like a little bit too big, and I don't mean that from like an art criticism standpoint. I mean, like, clearly it's intended to be this way and be creepy, because it is creepy. I don't know, the left side, like our left side, just like it's going up a little too far. She's really creepy. I don't like it. She's creepy. And then, like I said, here is where we have Maggie confirmed to be in this game. I don't know if she's gonna be in the, if we're gonna actually interact with her. Maybe, I can't remember if I floated this idea already. Maybe she's gonna be a boss fight, or if she's gonna just sort of be a presence in the game, like maybe receive. Oh, I was gonna say maybe receiving letters. Maybe that's what the birds are for. Maybe it's like letters you're receiving from Maggie being like, hey, I hope you're okay. I know you're with the Dawn, but I just want you to look after yourself and come back safe and all this stuff. Maybe that's going to be, and that's just like a separate sort of extra story element that we get to experience. I wonder if there's a connection there, because those are both things that stick out a lot, is the birds in the menu and Maggie just being here at all. So maybe there's a connection with them. Maybe there's not, but that's just something I thought of on the spot just now. And now Colorgrave's next game, Cursed Chapter Dawnthief. I wonder if they called it Cursed Chapter so they could keep the CC thing. I don't know. I do wonder about that. But Dawnthief. And we also now get to see, if I go to the Steam page, first of all, we see another soul being dropped out of a person just there on the floor. Okay, it's going to auto-scroll these things. That's cool. We see her doing that, and then we see this. This is great commentary, right? This is what you came here for. And Silverlight, possibly, again. The mace being thrown, and whoop, and this is the image that we saw on the countdown stream. If you didn't know, there was a 7-day long stream that had a countdown at the top, and this was like they're just sleeping there. This was a GIF in the stream, it wasn't just a still image. And at the end of it, she jumps up, walks to the right, and the trailer plays. And it was really cool. It was a really cool moment. A bunch of us were hanging out in the Discord voice call and watching it together. It was a really hype moment, and I really enjoyed it. But it does also seem to indicate that the Jack in the Box Ungifted? That's not Ungifted, that's a Magic Eater. It does seem to indicate that that is going to be in this game. I wonder if we're going to get to, like, use it. Like, I wonder if it's going to be a companion at some point, or if maybe we're going to just fight it again. Or maybe it's just going to be there. Maybe it's just going to be like, oh, it's there. We don't want to use it. We don't like Magic Eaters. I almost said Ungifted again. We don't like Magic Eaters, so it's just in this storage room with the other boxes. Now we have about this game. Travel north into the wilderness with your team to undermine diplomatic relations and steal the rumored treasures sealed away there. Now, undermine diplomatic relations. I mentioned before about Sigrid going there to try and broker peace. It seems like maybe we're going to have some interaction and involvement with that, possibly. Maybe the peace has already been brokered and we're going there to undermine it retroactively. Like, hey, did you know that she's actually going to try and betray you, and that's the pact will be broken thing coming up again? I don't know. Overcome local fauna, wild hearthen warriors, and even elite knights posted to protect all that is hidden away in this mystic overgrown land. Now, elite knights being there, oh, I'm so stupid, man. I was like, that's weird. Why would knights be there when this place has been reported to be, like, abandoned? Like, there's lost souls here that even the Reapers won't come and collect. I literally just got finished saying that Sigrid might be here. That's why there would be knights there, idiot. Okay, so Sigrid is currently there. She's gotta be, otherwise why are all these knights here? Okay, so that's that then. So we might actually interact with Sigrid. That's kind of cool. I hope we at least get a glimpse of her, maybe, even if we don't interact with her directly. Here under the shade of the Great Soul Tree, much awaits to be uncovered, all for you to steal it. The Great Soul Tree, if you don't know, is a tree that was made by Hearthlove, the Hearthen scale, and this area was like their homeland, and it's now become like overcome with malice and all this stuff. There's a bunch of stuff. You can read all about it in Claire Alla Mode, but that is what the Soul Tree is. It's a place where Hearthlove was. I think she was Hearthlove the one that planted souls in the ground to have them be rebirthed as plants or something like that. I don't remember all the details. Point is, Hearthlove territory. That's what we're getting out of that for now, okay? Not going into the deep lore dive right now. And then venture forth, Dawnthief, and take the greatest treasure of the world's tyrant. Again, very obvious allusion to Sigrid, the world's tyrant. But also, I wanted to mention, venture forth, Dawnthief. Now, Dawnthief is being used, like, to address the player as a name. So, clearly, like, Belle is the Dawnthief, and that's what that name is all about. But I gotta wonder what it actually means, because the dawn is something that the Cult of the Dawn want to happen, right? It's always like, oh, you're looking forward to the dawn will come, and all this stuff. But Dawnthief, like, that can't be a name that the Dawn has given to Belle, right? Because that sort of implies that Belle is going to steal the Dawn, like she's going to betray them in some way. Again, maybe that's where Pact Will Be Broken comes from. Like, it seems like Belle is being set up to betray the Dawn in some way. And there's further evidence here that that is not what the Dawn refers to her as, because in the very next sentence it says, play as the enigmatic and quiet Dawn Clown and work with your team to find all worth taking in the Hearth and Wilderness. So, clearly, in canon, she is called the Dawn Clown. And also, interestingly, she's being described as enigmatic and quiet. Maybe we're going to have a silent protagonist Belle from here on out. That'd be kind of interesting, because she was a bit of a chatterbox in Curse Crackers, right? Like, as opposed to Auron, we got a bunch of Auron's internal monologues by item descriptions and interactions and stuff, but he never actually said much of anything to other people apart from a bunch of yes and no things. But Belle, we don't get any of her in a monologue. We don't get any kind of access to her thoughts apart from what she actually says out loud. And that's a really interesting, what am I trying to say? It's an interesting contrast, that's the word. It's an interesting contrast between these two main characters. And I wonder if maybe these treasures that you're collecting will have descriptions similar to items in Prodigal that do give you a bit of insight as to what the character thinks about the items, or maybe it'll be more like clinical descriptions of what the item is and all that stuff. be interesting to see. And, you know, then again, maybe Belle will actually say things, but maybe she'll be very minimal about what she says. And maybe it won't be until right at the end and she starts talking again. Who knows? Again, if she betrays the Dawn, maybe she's going to get more control of herself and she'll feel more confident talking. I think, I just said think with an F. I think that, I don't think you'd have been able to shut up. I think that a lot of stuff is going to happen right at the end of this game. I mean, obviously, that's kind of how narrative structures go, but I think there's going to be a decent amount of front-loading because of how much is already established in the canon before we get this, but it's also going to have to appeal to new players as well, so there's going to have to be a lot of onboarding. But after that, I think it's going to be, again, maybe the items you pick up and the interactions you have with Fiona and maybe Maggie, and definitely Bramble. Like, we can't forget Bramble's part of this team, so she's gonna maybe give us more insight into the Dawn and the structure of the cult, maybe. But then, if I'm right about Belle betraying them, that's gonna be like a big finale moment, and we're gonna maybe get Belle talking again, we're gonna get more secrets revealed, we might even get to see Sigrid. Like, there's going to be a lot of stuff that happens towards the end of this game, I think. Like, I mean, there's going to be a lot of reveals. There's going to be a lot of payoff from things that have been built up over multiple games now, is what I was trying to get at. Continuing on, take advantage of your acrobatic skill and sling your chain mace to reach great heights and places no mere mortal should find. Now, we already know that Belle is an incredible acrobat and could do a lot of things with Chime, but now she doesn't have Chime. She has her manual Chime, as I talked about, as I named it in the last video. She has the manual Chime that she can Spider-Man around with and get to places that normal people definitely wouldn't be able to. Plunder your way through worlds made up of levels and capped off with a dual-styled boss fight against the hopeful heroes rising up in your way. So, we might be blowing through the ranks of Sigrid's army here, because let's not forget, again, importantly, Sigrid is most likely here in the place that we're going as Belle. So she's going to be guarded by people that are powerful, right? So we're going to be going through these normal nights, but I think there is one title that we don't know anything about. So maybe they're going to be either the final boss fight or the penultimate boss fight, if indeed we get to fight against. I don't think we're going to fight against Sigrid herself, but maybe Bonnie's going to show up, you know? Like maybe that's where Pact Will Be Broken comes from, like just a pact of friendship, you know? Like maybe Bonnie is going to turn up because, you know, let's not forget, Bonnie is still looking for Belle, so maybe she's going to turn up and we'll actually fight against her. Maybe Belle's going to kill Bonnie in this game. What if that happened? That'd be crazy. Pick your favorite sidearm, collect a wild array of throwable objects to jump, kick, throw, and smash your way through. Okay, so I mentioned before about the possibility of weapons you pick up from the enemies being either a sidearm or a held item. It seems like from this and from one of the bullet points below that the weapons you pick up are just going to be held items, and sidearms are going to be more permanent weapons that you can choose from and take with you throughout the whole game. As we see, you know, acrobatically fling yourself through fifth worlds. Like I said before, the worlds thing, not literal worlds, not literal planets, just worlds as in an area of a game that is themed in some way, probably. Then master your favorite of 3 sidearms to defeat your foes. So there we go. There's going to be 3 different secondary weapons that you can use in combination with the mace ball thing. So that's going to be cool. You know, uncover secrets, plunder treasure, blah, 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 greatest of all treasures. The rumored greatest of all treasures, actually, hold on, I was going to say something about, hold on. Okay, I was going to say about the next thing that says, take breaks to meet your team, change your loadout, or maybe just a spot of fishing. Maybe, is there going to be a fishing minigame in this? There's going to, like, that's weird, right? That seems out of place, but I don't know, maybe, I guess there's going to be a fishing minigame in this. But anyway, going back up a bullet point, the rumored greatest of all treasures. Again, going back to that fortune, the true treasure will be taken. What is the greatest of all treasures in Ladamra? Like, I really don't know what that could be, but it's something to stew on, something to keep cooking up there in the old noggin. And then lastly, we have master your banditry in a once-in-a-lifetime whimsical experience in the wilds of the world. Now, I don't know about you, I don't quite buy that it's going to be whimsical. I think it's going to be dark and twisted. I mean, you know, let's be real. The world of Ladamra is definitely goofier than the world of Lyrian. Lyrian is the more grounded, realistic world, right? And Ladamra has a hospital that's got bunny ears and whiskers on it. Like, so You know, we have fun over here in Ladamra, but at the same time, big cult trying to overthrow the world government. I don't know if that's going to be whimsical or not, man. Maybe the fishing minigame will be whimsical, I don't know. But that's a really suspicious word to use. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. I think I've covered all of my bullet points. I've mentioned everything I wanted to mention. I'm sure there will be other things that come up, and maybe some other things that already have come up, maybe in the Discord. You should really, I mean, I'm sure that many of you watching are already coming here from the Discord, but if you're not in the Colorgrave Discord, you really should come and join. Like, ever since, I was going to say ever since Clear Isle Mode released, but really it was ever since the Kickstarter started up. The lore chat in Discord has been popping off like crazy. Like, it's every single day there's been another hugely long conversation stringing off on a bunch of different tangents and a bunch of different theories about every game, mostly of course the latest ones, but there's been a lot of really interesting lore talk over the last couple of months in the Colorgrave Discord. So if you're interested in that at all, you should really come in and see what it's like for yourself. But apart from that, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you very much for watching. I'm sure I haven't looked at how long I've been recording for, but I'm sure this one is a pretty long one because I feel like I say a lot of stuff in a very short period of time when I'm scripted, because I just go through it like, okay, here's what I want to say, and I say it, and that's it. But with this, I'm just rambling. Like I say, I've got my notes, but I'm just gassing over here. So thank you very much for watching genuinely, and I will talk to you in the next one. I swear the next video I'm going to make is the timeline one, and I'm just realizing as I'm saying this that I'm going to have to fit the Dawnthief game on the timeline. Damn it, I thought I had the timeline really solid, and now all of a sudden this game gets announced. God damn it. Anyway, I'll figure that out when I figure it out. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. Oh, that started off as a joke cough and then it was real.